Hello everyone, it's me, Bahamutgreen. Welcome to the first of what will hopefully maybe be multiple episodes of a Bahamutgreen podcast. Title pending. I don't really know what I'm going to call it. I can't really come up with anything better than that off the top of my head, but if I do come up with a name, it'll probably be tacky and cheesy as hell. There's a good chance that this is the first time most of you all are hearing my voice, so I hope it's not especially jarring. I don't usually upload my voice. I'm a little sensitive about it, so you have to be nice to me, or else I'll cry. Generally, what we're going to be doing here on this theoretical, conceptual Bahamutgreen podcast is just talk about games. That's a very original concept that no one on the internet has done before. But I'm sure a lot of you know that I do a lot of talking about video games. If you follow me on Twitter for any amount of time, you're probably very sick and tired of seeing me talk about video games so much. But, you know, it's something I can't help. I love talking people's ears off about games. You've probably seen me, post huge Twitter threads or link to my gaming side Tumblr where I just post up thoughts on games that I beat. Probably seen all that. And, for a little while now, I've been thinking, it might be fun and potentially, just something easy I could do off to the side to just do a podcast where I just talk about games. And it might even potentially be easier for people to digest my ever-growing, expansive brain full of thoughts on video game bullshit that is just in my mind at all times. And I kind of figured that having the option to just listen to me talk about stuff is probably considerably easier and considerably more fun than having to read massive blocks of text about games. I'm probably not going to replace posting up my afterthoughts as text. This podcast is probably just going to be a once a month thing, if it even kicks off. Again, it's all just conceptual. This is just an attempt at it. For context, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I should probably fix that, so I can have more ideas of a reference. I've had podcast ideas before, and YouTube channel ideas before, and stuff, video essay stuff before, but I've never really done any of it, or if I'm still going to do it, none of those projects ever got made, so I have no idea, if I'm even going to be good at this, or if I like it, or if people like my voice, or if people like hearing me talk. But I did suggest the idea on Twitter, and I had a couple people tell me that they would be interested in having something like that. I not even trying to butter myself up, but I do have a couple people that have told me they actually like what I have to say about video games, or they think it's interesting what I say. I'm very honored. I don't know why you like what I have to say, considering most of it just evolves down to, this is cool and good, and I like it. But I really do appreciate it, so hopefully you have fun with this. The whole concept behind this is just to have something in the background to listen to while you work, or cook, or clean, or do whatever the hell it is you do, that you need some guy from the internet to talk about video games in your ear for a little bit. If I can provide just one extra little source of background noise to help you work, then I've done my job. Again, this is just a concept test, so please, feel free to leave feedback on ideas or tips on how to make it sound better. If you have ideas for future episodes or additional segments, different crap like that, let me know. I'll divulge some other plans I have for this podcast later on, towards the end of the episode. But we'll just get right into it. Let's get the first episode of the Bahamutgreen podcast rolling. But first, to begin, go ahead and introduce myself. A lot of you probably know me. Some of you probably don't. But I don't really know why you'd be watching this if you don't, unless it's that popular in the future that people are like, oh, I gotta go back and listen to the first episode. But I'd like to introduce myself. Probably going to do this on pretty much every podcast episode. And if I have other guests, I'd like them to introduce themselves in the same way. Who you are, what your favorite game is, what game you're currently playing / obsessed with. So let's go. So hello everyone. Once again, I'm Bahamutgreen. My favorite game ever is Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, and I am currently playing through Chained Echoes. which is a very interesting indie RPG. I don't want to give too many thoughts on it before I'm done, but it's pretty freaking cool and has a lot of really interesting like ideas for its gameplay. I'm hoping to finish playing it sometime before the month ends. I'm playing it on Game Pass, so I do have a limited amount of time, but I've got like a bit of time left to finish it, and I'm almost done with it, so hopefully I can, if I don't get distracted with side quests. Next up is just a general news thing. I thought it might be interesting to just give my thoughts on video game news, although some episodes will probably just be about specific things that happened recently in video game dumb. We'll see. Although there probably will be some full episodes that are just about happenings in video games at the moment. But regardless, we'll see. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to keep doing a news thing, and for good reason. Already, I don't really remember much video game news that happened recently. I think the most recent thing that happened outside of like not good stuff was the Nintendo Direct, which the Nintendo Direct had a bunch of stuff in it. Unfortunately, it wasn't a lot of things I was crazy about, or like if it was something I was interested in, I already kind of own it. Like Metroid Prime, I already kind of own. I kind of want to play Metroid Prime on my GameCube. Baten Kaitos is the same thing. But there was some cool stuff. Probably the most exciting thing to me was definitely Birdo coming back to Mario Kart 8, which is exciting for multiple reasons. I love Birdo. I think Birdo's great. It's kind of fucked up that she hasn't been back since, like, Wii. Mario Kart rosters have been a little screwed up for Mario Kart Wii. I think 8 has an underrated roster. It's got everything you probably need. It's just slightly missing some things. And thankfully, it does seem like maybe we'll get more characters coming. That's basically all I wanted. Like, I was, obviously I was very excited for the new tracks, but I was like, kind of ashamed we're not getting new characters too. And it seems like we finally are. Hopefully they'll do more than just Birdo. But if not, Birdo with multiple colors, just Birdo, that's very exciting. Off the top of my head, some other characters I'd probably like to see come back are PD Piranha for sure. It's a shame that PD Piranha hasn't come back. Diddy Kong, I would like. Dixie Kong, I would love. Should bring back Rob. Why not? I wonder if they'll add new characters as well. Probably not, if I had to guess, since most of the tracks are returning tracks. But I mean, yeah, there are some new tracks. Like, I don't think that Yoshi's Island track is in Tour. I think that's brand new. If they do add new characters, like I'd always love to see any characters from Mario RPGs, but that shit ain't happening. Pauline's basically a shoo-in. If they're going to add any new character, it's probably going to be Pauline. I'd love to see Cappy. I think Nabbit was like weirdly snuffed to be in the original Mario Kart 8. I really feel like Nabbit was supposed to be in that game. Like, it's kind of weird to me that he wasn't. So maybe they'll add Nabbit. Who knows? The Yoshi's Island track also looks really cool, really cute. I saw in the trailer there's a part where they drive through one of the little question mark clouds, and it creates like an alternative path on the track, like just like the little stairs that those things summon in Yoshi's Island, that's super fucking cute. There was the fucking Nappy Nuts, or whatever the heck the Yoshi's Island equivalent of the Blargs are called. That was neat. Huffin' Puffin was there from Yoshi's Island, not from Paper Mario. I told you they're not going to put any Mario RPG characters in there. Don't get your hopes up. We do have like a Donkey Kong Country track, and a Yoshi's Island track, and a Luigi's Mansion track. How long until maybe we can get like a Wario Land track? They probably... don't quote me on this. Actually, I have my phone right here. Let me look it up really quick. I think there was a WarioWare track in the arcade Mario Kart. Yeah, in Mario Kart Arcade. There full on was a WarioWare track. That's pretty fucking cool. That's probably not coming back though. So, R.I.P. But you see, now that means they have to give us a Wario Land track. Definitely. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll get a Super Princess Peach track. Probably not. Maybe eventually we can get a Mario RPG track. Probably not. But damn, I'd fucking love it if they did. Oh man, I completely forgot we were talking about video game news, not Mario Kart. They also added Game Boy and Game Boy Advance stuff to Nintendo Switch Online, which is very exciting. Basically, the day it came out, I played Mario Land 2, I played Kirby's Adventure, and I played Gargoyle's Quest. I feel like I played Kirby's Adventure before, but I didn't remember most of the second act of the game. I didn't remember most of the game. I did remember the shmup section, though, which is very peculiar. Then, like, Mario Land 2, that game fucking rules. That's still probably one of the best 2D Marios. It's really good. Like, I know that's not a hot take, but, like, dude, Mario Land 2 rocks. That game is awesome. And then Gargoyle's Quest, I wasn't that crazy about it, but the Firebrand theme that comes from that game is very good. It has a fantastic remix in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And they also added Game Boy Advance stuff, which is very exciting. Game Boy Advance has a fucking fantastic library, particularly like the added Mario Kart Super Circuit, which is not that good of a Mario Kart, but I am so smitten with that game. So many good memories with Mario Kart Super Circuit. I still remember buying it used at GameStop way back when they had way back when at the checkout counter they had the thing where you would look into, like, at the glass, and they would have all the Game Boy Advance games and all the Game Boy Advances. Y'all remember that? It's not just me, right? Most of you guys listen to this are probably older than I am, so probably you remember it. Yeah, and I love, like, a lot of the tracks from Super Circuit, so that's very exciting. But more important than Super Circuit is Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga got added. That is not only is it another RPG being added to the Switch, which is quickly becoming, like, the RPG console, I think, anyway. Every fucking RPG is on this console. Like, they are just putting any RPG that they can possibly cram into its library onto it. It's crazy. If you like RPGs or are interested in getting into RPGs and don't own any of them, like, seriously, just buy a Switch. Even if those ports are kind of booty, like, even though those ports aren't very good, you still have access to, like, everything. Seriously, you could just go on the eShop right now and buy, like, a shit ton of Dragon Quest games, a shit ton of Final Fantasies. I think those 3 Persona games are on Switch now. Live Alive, Baten Kaitos, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Vesperia. The Mana games are there. There's a bunch of indie RPGs on there. A bunch of really good indie RPGs on there, like Cosmic Star Heroine is on there. Undertale's on there. That's pretty crazy. There's a shit ton of RPGs on that console. My god. So that's very cool. But again, this is particularly exciting because it's another Mario RPG added to the console. I think as of right now, what was it? There's 3 made for Switch, right? With Mario Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, and Origami King. And then there is now 2 old ones that have been added with Paper Mario and Superstar Saga. So that's fantastic. Still does not have the Wii U beat, though. The Wii U still has more Mario RPGs on it, I think. The Wii U still had, the Wii U had Partners in Time on it before it went down, so that's all I'm going to say on it. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. That game fucking rocks. The only problem with Game Boy Advance is that it's once again locked behind the Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pass, which is $80 a year, which it's only one time a year. It could be worse. And that is like $6 a month. I wish I could just buy it monthly because that would make the pill so much easier to swallow. But c'est la vie. The only reason why I don't buy it is because, like, I don't use Nintendo Switch Online every month, right? Game Boy Advance is absolutely what I was waiting for. That is, so I love the SNES. That's what I grew up playing on, from like hand-me-downs and stuff. But nah, man, Game Boy Advance, GameCube, that SNES is what I had when I was a baby. But what I grew up around was GameCube and Game Boy Advance. Then they also announced a demo for Sea of Stars, which I started it, but I stopped because I really liked what I played of it. And I was like, I don't want to like see anymore. I kind of want to just play it when it comes out. Hopefully I'll be able to get that when it comes out. That's probably my most anticipated game of the year. So I'm very much so looking forward to seeing the full product come out, because it looks fucking amazing. The sprite art in it is like crazy, and the soundtrack is promising to be really fucking good. I already forgot his name. I believe he's the Chrono Cross composer. Worked on it. I think there's a Y in his name. I'm so sorry. I know he worked on Xenogears. Oh god. Well, regardless, the soundtrack's looking to be absolutely amazing. So that's exciting. All right, enough about news. Did I talk for like 15 minutes just about fucking stupid shit from the Nintendo Direct like a week or two ago? Jesus. So, more specifically now, this is the actual topic of the day. To start us out, I think something good to open up with is just talking about games that I love. We're just gonna talk about just the types of video games I like, how I got into video games, and hopefully this gives you some sort of idea as to like who I am as like a video game player. Maybe it'll make future episodes more interesting. Maybe it'll recontextualize some of my thoughts that I've given out about video games in the past. I got a whole lot to talk about. I can say a bunch of shit about games that I like. So, yeah, I guess let's get it started. To begin, I've been playing video games for most of my life. The first game I ever played was Super Mario World on SNES. I don't fully remember what level it is. Whenever I think back, I always remember playing through Forest of Illusion, one of like the Forest of Illusion level where you're riding on the platforms and it's like a moving level, which I hope that wasn't the first level I ever played. That would be such a mean thing to do. If I had to guess, it's probably one of the Yoshi's Island stages. But regardless, Super Mario World, to this day, still one of my favorite games ever. I have a lot of love for SNES stuff because that's most of what I played when I was really little. Then, like, we got, like, a GameCube, we got an Xbox. When I was little, very little, before I was in school, or, like, when I was just starting, I may not have been in school at this point, we were able to get our hands on quite a lot of games. Money was very good in the Bahamutgreen household at that point, so we played a lot. The only thing we did not have a PS2. We probably couldn't afford to get all three, but we did have a GameCube, and we did have an Xbox, which is fucking crazy to think about. Oh my god. Like, I'm really thinking about it, because I was, like, barely sentient at the time. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Maybe I shouldn't include that. I don't want to fucking brag. Anyway, I'm poor as fuck now. So, I still don't have a PS4. I haven't been able to get that. I got an Xbox One, like, fucking over 5 years ago now, and I haven't been able to upgrade from it. Thankfully, I can still use it. I still make very good use of that Xbox One. I got an Xbox One. My brother bought that. He had a job at the time, and I was leeching off of him. I convinced him to get an Xbox One so we could buy Killer Instinct 2013. Then we got a GameCube, and that's where most of my attention went, was to GameCube stuff. Like, we had Melee growing up. Oh yeah, that's right. So, yeah, and like, we had an N64, and I played a lot of N64, but I definitely, I feel like by the time I really got to digging into N64 stuff, the GameCube was already kind of rolling around. So, like, again, I have a lot of memories of playing, like, Pokemon Stadium as a child and Super Mario 64 as a child, but I definitely have a lot more memories of playing GameCube stuff and SNES stuff than I do N64 stuff. That could just be because the N64 doesn't have, like, a lot of games, but, Yoshi's Story. There's a game I have a lot of memories playing on N64. I have a lot of memories of playing stuff like Yoshi's Story and Super Mario 64, but I definitely have way more memories of playing stuff on SNES and playing stuff on, like, GameCube than N64. I do love the N64, though, and I do have some memories with it. But, yes. Then the GameCube chugged along, and I want to say that's probably full-blown when I was just like, yeah, no, I fucking love video games, man. I can't get enough of this shit. Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, although I didn't play that one a lot when I was really little because it genuinely frightened me. A lot of Melee, like a shit ton of Super Smash Bros. Melee. I don't think it was normal how much Melee I played as a kid. That's a consistent problem with me in Smash Bros. Games, where every time a new one comes out, I play an unnatural amount of time of it. I think I've done that with every single one except for Smash 64, because I didn't even own that as a kid. I got that, like, a lot later. Around that time, like when the Wii and DS era came out, it became a lot more difficult to get new games. I didn't get a DS until very late into the DS's life cycle. I don't even know when I would have gotten my hands on a DS. The only DS game I remember getting new is Soul Silver, and I believe I was in 6th grade when Soul Silver came out. You'll find, really quickly, I don't know shit about when I played stuff and when games come out. So let's just get this out of the way right now. I don't remember anything about release dates. I am so bad about release dates, it's not even funny. I got the DS and Wii very late into their life cycle, but I definitely got them before like the next generation came along. And then I didn't get a PS3 or a 360 like until years later. Now things are a little better. I can afford consoles sometimes, but I'm definitely dragging along. But with the advent of PC gaming, things are a lot better for me to play games. Both like, you know, for real and on the high seas. I love playing games. I love thinking about video games. Lately, I've enjoyed making games. Sometimes I don't love it. It's a very frustrating process, but you know, video games are a very active and present part of my life. I've been playing them for years. They've been providing comfort to me for years. You know, I've been being told I'm not allowed to play them for years. Animal Crossing taught me how to read. Sonic the Hedgehog taught me that music with lyrics actually rocks. I used to not like songs with lyrics. It's just, I love the stories and characters and, you know, just the visuals, the worlds, and of course, like, I just like playing games or just plain fun to play. They're just an ever-present aspect of my life. I love video games. I can't get enough of video games. And that's why we're here, to talk about video games. So, let's go. We're going to get a little more specific into it and talk about some games that I really like some of my all-time favorites, you know, some of the biggest ones. Starting out with what you probably need to know about me right out the gate are some of my favorite series. We'll get into the more nitty-gritty, but on a broader sense, on a broader scale, my favorite series, there are 2 big ones particularly that you probably need to know about. Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog. If you only started following me recently, you might think I prefer Sonic. I actually do prefer Mario, or at least I did. I have a very complicated relationship with that series now. Super Mario is a very important series to me. I've played it for, again, it was my first game ever with Super Mario World. And from then, I've been absolutely fucking obsessed with that series. It was a genuine hobby of mine for a long time to just, research Mario lore and, just learn about, random Mario shit, because I just love that series so much. And I would have, all these, theories on, Mario timelines, and I would always, try to, piece together, the lore, because it was fun. I've played shit tons of Mario games. I've played every 3D Mario. I've played every 2D. I've played most 2D Marios. I've played basically every main series Mario. I've played every Mario RPG. We'll get to that. I've played a bunch of spin-offs from I've played a lot of the sports games. I've played a lot of Wario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Donkey Kong. And I generally like all of them. It wasn't until recently where I kind of feel like they just kind of started releasing a lot of games I don't like for multiple reasons. And again, we'll get to that, if not in this episode, later. But it has still been a little difficult to shake my Mario love, just because I was so deep into the Mario soup for most of my life. And, especially lately, I'm kind of a little bit getting back into Mario slowly with, I really liked Sparks of Hope, and the Mario movie looks absolutely amazing, and it's always been a little hard to be yeah, Mario games suck now, because, I loved Odyssey. I played that game, 3 times. I've only 100% completed it once, but, I've beaten it, 3 or 4 times. It's really good. So, some other series have started climbing the ranks, though. Sonic the Hedgehog is absolutely my number 2 favorite series of all time. I fucking love Sonic. I've played a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog games. The first Sonic game I beat was Sonic Adventure 2, and I played that in middle school, Sonic Generations was the newest game when I finally beat a Sonic game. And I always enjoyed the series, but I was definitely one of those like, oh, Sonic 06 sucks, so funny. And now, I'm like, no, dude, I'm fucking obsessed with the series. I love Sonic 06. That's not even a joke. I'm actually fucking obsessed with that game. I'm fucking obsessed with that game. I know games should not release in that quality, but goddamn, I don't care. I fucking love that game. I like the I love 2D Sonic games. I love 3D Sonic games. I haven't played a lot of Sonic spin-offs. I'm not sure what you would even constitute as a spin-off. Like, I've played Sonic Battle. I love Sonic Battle. I played the Riders games. I really liked those. I played Team Sonic Racing. I was thinking about that game recently. That is one of the best racing games ever made, and I will never forgive them for just killing it on arrival. Yeah, I pretty much like every Sonic game. The only Sonic game I genuinely dislike is Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. And now that I've said it and more people know, it only means I have to play it and beat it more and more. So, yippee skippy. Okay, so, like some of like the worst games again, like I love 06, I love Shadow the Hedgehog. Sonic Forces, yeah, that game's kind of blows. It's kind of a nothing game, but I've played that game like 2 times. It's probably the closest I've ever come to 100%ing a Sonic game. So yeah, Sonic Forces absolutely blows, but also like it's still kind of fun. So you could do a hell of a lot worse. And then like Sonic Frontiers came out recently. I fucking loved that game, dude. Very divisive game. Like, I see a lot of people be like, yeah, it's awesome. I see a lot of people be like, no, dude, it totally sucks. I'm just gonna be honest. I love Sonic Frontiers. I thought that game was fucking awesome. We absolutely will talk more about Sonic and Mario. That's inevitable that those are going to come up a shit ton. Some other series I really love that we'll talk about, like Final Fantasy is probably becoming like a new favorite. Like, it's on its way. Final Fantasy's on its way to becoming like my number one. If Mario and Sonic aren't careful. That's just, those are just some series I really like. Moving on to more specifically, some of my favorite genres. There are, I'm just going to be copying like what's written on my introduction on my video game Tumblr. I'm just going to be regurgitating a lot of this. It's organized into like top 3s. So my favorite video game genres. Number 3 is fighting games. Specifically 2D fighters. I've played a lot of 3D fighters and I like them, but I am just a lot worse at them. I just can't really get a good grasp on them like I can 2D fighters, but I love 2D fighting games. I've been playing them for a very long time. I've always really liked them. My very first fighting game was Mortal Kombat 2 on SNES. And I didn't really stick with Mortal Kombat. I kind of moved on to other things like Killer Instinct we also had that on SNES and I played that a whole lot. I've been playing fighting games basically ever since. I really like fighting games. I think they're very fun. I think they are a fantastic genre because like they have so much character diversity in them and they're just very fascinating like lore and characters in fighting games. And also like it's just a fun gameplay style. Now, my next favorite genre of video games are platformers. I like all platformers, but especially 3D platformers. I really like 3D platformers, although I feel like I haven't played a lot of them. I really love them. That's definitely what I grew up playing the most with, like, again, like the 3D Marios are some of my favorite games. What probably sealed my fate into being obsessed with 3D platformers was Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I fucking love that game. We'll talk more about it in a bit, but like, hoo boy, do I love Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I could play that game for ages and never get tired of it. In fact, it's like the only game I've 100% completed 2 separate times. So, but yeah, like I love 3D platformers. I think they're very interesting to me. Like I love just like how much crazy shit you can do in them. I think they are kind of the most interesting for like glitch hunting. Like you're not going to find a genre more fun for glitch hunting than 3D platformers, and I love glitches in games. I fucking love video game glitches so much. Yeah, 3D platformers, they're great. Again, I love 2D platformers too. I play a shit ton of 2D platformers, but I don't like them as much as 3D platformers, even though I definitely play them more. And then, last but not least, my favorite video game genre of all time are RPGs, specifically like turn-based RPGs, like JRPGs, and like just the traditional turn-based affairs. I've played a lot of action RPGs I like, and I've played a lot of I've only ever beaten like one strategy RPG, but god damn it, I loved that strategy RPG. Fire Emblem Awakening, probably one of the best games I've ever played in my life. But yeah, RPGs overall, I just really like them. Particularly why I play games is like, obviously I play them for the gameplay, but I really like the stories and characters and stuff, and like getting sucked into the world. And fighting games and platformers do provide that, but not as much as I would like them to. It's part of the big reason why I really like Sonic the Hedgehog, is because like it's a platforming series that like really focuses on its world and characters, which is just so fucking cool to me. Even back before like the modern era, like back during like Sonic 3, that game had like no dialogue and has like a really cool story, in my opinion, that's like really over the top. Sorry, we're talking about RPGs now. And yeah, even outside of the story, I really like RPGs for their gameplay. I think they are a ton of fun to play. I genuinely enjoy the turn-based combat and like having to like think out your moves. And I think RPGs are a ton of fun because I love grinding, and I love like getting really good gear for characters, and I love making my characters fucking overpowered as hell and just steamrolling shit. I know a lot of people are like, well, that's kind of boring, there's no challenge. Yeah, there was. The challenge was me grinding to become strong enough to steamroll the game. That's just it's a ton of fun to me. I really just enjoy the turn-based RPG combat. I think it allows for tons of like interesting moves and like fancy visuals and stuff. I think they are RPGs really, more so than any other genre, tend to very much to like break the mold visually and stuff, because they kind of have to. They're storytelling. It's a storytelling genre. And you know, the visuals and the story and the way that like characters are presented are the most important parts of games to me. So yeah, that's why I love RPGs. Now to get like more specific with it, we'll talk about some of my like top threes from each of them. We'll talk about some of my top threes from each genre. Starting with RPGs, some of my favorite RPGs ever are my all-time favorite RPGs of all time are the Mario RPGs. I love these games. I could do entire like 10-hour episodes on each Mario RPG individually. I love them all, more or less. I think they're all very good. I won't bore you with like a massive rundown on my thoughts on all of them right now. I mean, unless y'all want it. But my favorite in the series, obviously, is Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. But again, like, I love Paper Mario. I love Mario and Luigi. I've been really liking Mario plus Rabbids. Like, that one's a keeper. That one's here to stay. It's good as fuck. And it's just a series that I really love. And yeah, lately Mario RPGs have been tapering off. Like, Mario and Luigi's kind of done. Paper Mario is still going, but it's doing its own thing, and that's fine. But like, it's doing its own thing, and that's okay. And Mario Rabbids is also its own thing, but it's a very different type of RPG. I just hope we can see more traditional, for real, actual RPGs coming to the Mario series soon. The decline of Mario RPGs played a big role in why I kind of fell off from the series. Anyway, the Mario RPGs are my favorite games of all time. I love this whole, I guess, genre, like sub-genre of Mario games, and the whole concept behind them is just fucking amazing to me. My favorite is Super Mario RPG. My favorite from Mario and Luigi is Bowser's Inside Story. My favorite from Paper Mario is Thousand Year Door. Let's stop now before I keep talking about the Mario RPGs forever. My next favorite RPG series is absolutely Final Fantasy. I've only played like 4 games in the main series. I've played Final Fantasy 1, 7, 8, and 9. They have all been fucking amazing. All of those games are incredible. I played Final Fantasy 1 for the first time last year, and I was blown away by how much I liked it. It's just a NES RPG, but like, I had a great time with it. I really loved it. Of course, as it's probably obvious, the PlayStation Final Fantasies are my favorite. There's a reason those are some of the only ones I've played. They're all amazing, but 9 is without a doubt my number one. I love Final Fantasy 9. That game is so fucking cool. Has a wonderful story. Has I love the character designs in it. I love the entire team. My team at the end of it was Zidane, Vivi, Freya, and Steiner. Those are like my favorite characters. I love them. I love Freya Crescent so much. I wish she was my wife, but unfortunately, she is not. As I've played a couple of the spin-offs as well. I've played both Chocobo racing games. I loved the first one. The second one was is okay. I played Stranger of Paradise. I fucking loved that game. Stranger of Paradise is absolutely brilliant. It's such a good game. I haven't beaten it, but I've played a lot of Crystal Chronicles. I really like Crystal Chronicles, and I do plan on beating it one day. But yeah, Final Fantasy is a very cool series. It's quickly becoming maybe my favorite series of all time. I'm very obsessed with it. Yeah, hopefully I'll get to play up more. Last year I started an effort to play through the main series of 4 different RPGs. Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Pokemon, and Tales of. And currently I'm still only on the second one, but I will be playing through all of them. I'll even be replaying the ones I've already played before. Yeah, that should be exciting. And speaking of Tales of, that is what's written down as my next favorite. I've only played 2 games. I've only played 3 games in the Tales of series, but they've all been pretty good. Tales of Fantasia I wasn't crazy about, which I played last year, but I liked it a lot. And then Tales of Symphonia is really fucking good. That game just came out on Switch. Play it if you haven't. If you don't own it on GameCube, I know apparently it's not a good port, but if you don't have any other option, if you're not comfortable emulating it, you should probably just emulate it. But if you're not comfortable with it, or you just can't do it, you might as well play the shitty port than not play it at all, in my opinion. Tales of Symphonia is a fantastic game, and then there's Tales of Vesperia, which is my favorite Tales of game, and possibly one of my favorite video games of all time. I always put it on like my top games of all time list. It's really good, and probably Tales fans are like, "Oh my god, another Vesperia guy." From my understanding, that one is like super overhyped, and everyone talks about it. Like Yuri Lowell has to be like kicked off of the popularity polls because he's so famous. But it's for a good reason, dude. Tales of Vesperia fucking rules. I fucking love that game. And it's not even a turn-based RPG. It's an action RPG. And I still fucking loved it. I still played the shit out of that game. What a great game. Yeah, other RPGs I really like are Dragon Quest. I've played Dragon Quest 1, 8, and 11. And 11's definitely my favorite. But especially like lately, I'm really obsessed with Dragon Quest. Just such an iconic like aesthetic and like brand that series has. I really like a lot of indie RPGs, like Undertale, obviously I love. Zeboid Games make a lot of fantastic RPGs, like Cosmic Star Heroine's probably one of my favorite RPGs ever. There's a massive amount of RPGs out there. I love them, I've played a good number of them, and even I've barely scratched the surface. Like, there's so many RPG series I have yet to play. I'm not going to list them because I think people are going to get probably a little mad if I reveal what RPGs I haven't played. There's just so many good ones out there. I like playing a lot of like smaller, lesser known indie RPGs too. Like recently I played a game called Viola, the Heroine's Melody. Very underrated game. It has kind of a big bug in it that made me have to play through it twice. But it was a very cool game. I thought it was very good. Let's not get too sidetracked. There's a bajillion RPGs that are really good. I really love the Mother series. The Mother trilogy is very good. I played all 3 of them. I love them all. Moving on. Some of my favorite platformers. My like top 3 favorite platformers. Number 1. Pretty obvious. Super Mario. I've played pretty much every Mario platformer. I fucking love the Mario platformers. They're very good. I don't like them more than the Mario RPGs. But I mean, I still like them. My favorite Mario game is Super Mario Sunshine. I don't even want to hear it. People are like, oh, it's not that good. It literally is. It literally is that good. I don't know what to tell y'all. Super Mario Sunshine is one of the greatest video games ever made. It's a fucking masterpiece. And I really like pretty much all the 3D Marios. I love 64. Sunshine's obviously like one of my favorite games of all time. Galaxy 1 and 2 are fucking amazing. Those are almost masterpieces in my opinion. Like Mario Galaxy 1 might kind of be like masterpiece material a little bit. It's been a bit since I've played it, but then like I liked 3D Land. I loved 3D World. I loved Odyssey. I thought Odyssey was really good. Even with its shortcomings, I thought Odyssey fucking ruled. And I loved Bowser's Fury. Like, oh my god, Bowser's Fury gives me so much excitement for what might come next in the Mario series. And then like I like a lot of the 2D ones too. I'm not as crazy about them, but like I like every new Super Mario Bros. Game. I wasn't crazy about New Super Mario Bros. 2, but like the first one, Wii and U are all really good. Lately I've been realizing how much I love the NES Mario. Like I really like that game. It's really cute, really charming. Obviously I love Super Mario World. I love Mario Land 2. I like Mario Bros. 2, Mario Bros. 3. Mario Land 1's cute. Mario Land like 2 Lost Levels kind of blows. It's interesting though, but yeah, Mario. There's just so many games in that series. But the 3D Marios are also like some of the only games I've ever 100% completed. I've 100% completed Super 64. I've 100% completed Super Mario Sunshine, and I fucking loved it. I loved every second of it. In fact, I've come dangerously close to doing it twice. I've 100% completed Galaxy, not Galaxy 2, but I just recently got my copy of it back after having lent it out for like over like 5 years ago. Yeah, I finally got my copy back, so I would like to try and 100% that one. I'm not going to 100% 3D World. I've 100% completed 3D Land. I 100% completed Odyssey, and I 100% completed Bowser's Fury. God, I have no life. But yeah, I love Mario. You know, I love that series. It's very hard for me to be like, yeah, I don't like the series anymore, because like the games I love, I still fucking love like so much. It's not even funny. Mostly it's just been the spin-offs to the Mario series that have kind of been not as great in my opinion. The main series games have been consistently good. Moving on. Next up is, again, probably pretty obvious, Sonic the Hedgehog. I love the Sonic the Hedgehog games. They are platformers, but super melodramatic and over the top and insane, and have like RPG scale plots, and yeah, and they have like more fleshed out characters and stuff. It's basically everything I want out of a platformer. My favorite Sonic game, super generic answer, but it's Sonic Adventure 2. I fucking love Sonic Adventure 2. I think Sonic Adventure 2 is just super fun. I think all three gameplay styles are fun. I think the story is very interesting. I think the whole game is very cool. I think the story is great. I think Shadow the Hedgehog is one of the greatest characters of all time. I think the music is amazing. Live and Learn is one of my favorite songs ever. And again, that was the first Sonic game I beat. I remember after I played it, I was like, man, I gotta play more of this Sonic shit. This shit was pretty cool. Yeah, and so I pretty much immediately went to GameStop and went to go look for like the Wii Sonic games. I was gonna get Unleashed because I saw you could play with a GameCube controller, and then I found Sonic Colors, and you could also play it with a GameCube controller, and the cover was shiny. So I got that next, and that's basically like, Sonic Colors is basically the opposite side of the spectrum for Sonic Adventure 2. You can only play as Sonic. It's a lot more lighthearted of a story. It's a lot goofier. And it fucking rules. I fucking love Sonic Colors. What a great game. I adore that game. It's stupid good. I love Sonic Colors so much. Then I played Unleashed, and I remember kind of being like, on Sonic Unleashed when I first played it. Like, I liked it enough, but I was kind of like, And recently I replayed it. Like, I replayed it on PS3 this time. And no, Sonic Unleashed fucking rules, actually. That game's great. Yeah, I like pretty much every Sonic game. I love the adventure games. They're both amazing to me. I love Shadow the Hedgehog. I love Heroes. I love 06. I think 06 is seriously underappreciated. Again, I know no game should ever release in that quality, but it's an underappreciated game in my opinion. I think it does a lot right that it doesn't get credit for, just because it's so bad. And it has like one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Stupid fucking good soundtrack. I'm giving a lot of love to the 3D Sonics, because that's what I love the most, but I love the 2D ones too. Sonic 1, 2, CD are all great. The Sonic Advance games are very good. I really liked those a whole lot. And then like Sonic 3 and Knuckles is kind of hands down the best 2D Sonic game ever. Like, I'm sorry, guys. It's not even really a contest in my mind. It's just fucking brilliant. That game absolutely rules. I only beat the and Knuckles section, like, portion of the game recently, but, like, holy shit, it fucking rocks. Yeah, and there's so many Sonic games out there, and there's so many I haven't played that I still want to play through, and there's so many, like, smaller titles that'll just kind of get pushed to the wayside, like Sonic Rivals. If you haven't played any of the Sonic Rivals games, those games fucking rule. It's only 2 of them, but they both fucking rock. Like, Sonic Rivals 2 is maybe one of the best Sonic games in my opinion. It's really fucking good, except I do feel like it needed, like, a last story where, like, you could play as any character and go super and fight Ifrit. Yeah, Ifrit. Sorry for the Sonic Rivals 2 spoiler. And I'm still waiting on Sonic Rivals 3, man. I'll buy it. I will buy Sonic Rivals 3 day one. And then, last but not least, one more platformer that I really love is Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I have great memories with this game. I remember, I still remember the day we bought it from Walmart. That was crazy. It is to this day the only time I have ever bought something from Walmart that was behind the glass case. This was back in the day when they had the demos where the controller was at your arm's level and you would look up at a TV above you. And I would sit there at the Walmart demos playing Wallace and Gromit Project Zoo for hours until my neck got so sore I thought I was gonna die. Good times. I never beat Wallace and Gromit Project Zoo. That's not important. Back to Ty. Yeah, and I love Tasmanian Tiger. I've played that game so much. It took me a long time to beat it, but I did finally eventually beat it. And then I loved it so much, I 100% completed it. I've played Ty 2. I fucking loved that game. I played Ty 3. Didn't like that game quite as much. Then I played Ty 4. I was really not that into that game. And then they started remaking the Ty games. And I played Ty 1 again, and it was just as good as I remembered. And I 100% completed it again. And then I played Ty 2, and it was way better than I remembered it being. Ty 2 really fucking rules. I still probably prefer Ty 1, but Ty 2 is still very good. And then I 100% completed Ty 2, and I'm waiting for the Night of the Quinkin remake. I still don't think I'm going to be that crazy about it, but I will 100% complete it. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I just really like Ty, and especially, like, lately, I'm like, it's really coming to mind that, like, I just really like the Ty Tasmanian Tiger series. Ty 4, I think, just got added to Switch, and again, Ty 3 will be coming eventually. Hopefully, maybe Ty 5? I'm pretty sure the comics that are coming with the Kickstarters to get the console ports of the other Ty games, the Doomarine comic, I'm pretty sure it's meant to be like a prequel to Ty 5, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, I will fucking scream if we get a Ty 5. Like, you have no idea. I understand it's very far away. It's not something that can be done. It cannot be done nearly as easily as the remakes, but I would still love a Ty 5. That's all I'm going to say. And, you know, again, there's a whole lot of other platformers out there that I really love. Just recently, I played through the original trilogy of Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and Jak and Daxter. I really liked all 3 of those. I thought they were very good. Jak and Daxter particularly, is another one where it's a platformer, but it has a lot of emphasis on, like, its world and its characters, and I really liked that. I mean, they all had a lot of emphasis on their character, but Jak and Daxter had the most emphasis on, like, its world, so that was fun. I really liked that. And then, like, for 2D platformers, there's a lot of really good ones, like, again, like a lot of the Mario spin-offs are very good 2D platformers. Like, the Donkey Kong Country games are fucking amazing. All of them, they're all good. The original trilogy and, like, Returns and Tropical Freeze are really fucking good in my opinion. And then there's so many good indie 2D platformers, like Kaze and the Wild Mask is fantastic. That game is really good. I think I played that last year. That game is stupid good. I really like the Dadish games. There's a million platformers. Literally none of them are coming to mind right now, but there are so many platformers out there, and they're very good. It's a great genre. And now, moving on to some of my favorite fighting games. Right at the bat, probably the most obvious one, because it's the one I never shut the hell up about, is Super Smash Bros. I love Super Smash Bros. I have been a huge fan of this series basically my whole life. Melee came out just a couple years after I was born. So like Melee was around basically right around the time I was becoming sentient. And then from there, I played the shit out of Melee. And then Brawl started coming around. And every day I would wake up in the morning and go check that Brawl dojo and play the Flash games on the Nintendo website. That was my whole life back then. Does anyone else remember when Nintendo had the big section of Flash games? Back when every single one of their websites had Flash games on it, and I would just play that shit every day. The Star Fox Command one, the Pokemon Chores one. There was a March of the Minis one I really liked. There was a Donkey Kong Country 3 one I really liked. I'm blanking on most of these now. There was a Diddy Kong Racing one. I don't remember what it was about. I'm getting off topic. Anyway. And then it took me a while to finally get a Wii and to finally get a copy of Brawl. But when I finally got it years after it came out, I played the absolute shit out of it. It's one of the best games, one of my favorite games of all time. I love Brawl. Then I played Project M. And I was like, oh my god, it's just Brawl 2. I fucking love it. And I got into Brawl modding. And then Smash 4 was announced. And then Smash 4 came out on 3DS. And I played the ever-loving shit out of it. I played that demo so much, it's not even normal how much I played that demo. I still have that demo on my 3DS, and I still play it sometimes. I don't even know if it works anymore, but I still got it. I was a Link main in that demo. I never played Link before. Yeah, and then Smash 3DS came out proper, and I played the ever-loving shit out of it. I think I played that game more than any other game ever. Because I used to take it to high school with me and play it all the time. And then Smash Wii U came out, and I played the ever-loving shit out of that. And then Smash Ultimate came out, and I played the ever-loving shit out of that. And I just play a lot of Super Smash Bros. Because it's a series I really love, and it's a series all about loving video games. So it makes a lot of sense that I would like it, because it has series I like in it, and it has series I don't like in it. And then playing Smash Bros. Makes me be like, I gotta play that series and see if I like it. And then most of the time, I do like it. So that's pretty good. Yeah, my favorite Smash Bros. Is Brawl, as I was saying. And in Brawl, in Brawl, when it first came out, I was a Pokemon Trainer main, and then I was like, no, I want to play as Pokemon Trainer. I want to play as, he's too hard. I want to play as Dedede. And then I played as Dedede, and I was a little kid, and I did not know about Dedede chain grabs. I had no idea what power I could have commanded. I wasn't into competitive Smash at the time when Brawl came out. And then I played Ice Climbers for a bit in Brawl, and again, I didn't know about wobbling. Like, how did that happen 2 times? I have no idea. And then way later in my life, I started playing Wolf. And then way later in my life, I was like, why the fuck did I stop playing Pokemon Trainer? I don't give a shit if they're tired. Wake up, boys! It's Pokemon Trainer time. I actually really would not mind going back and like learning how to play Pokemon Trainer really good, even though no one plays Brawl anymore. And then in Project M, I mained the Pokemon Trainer Pokemon on their own. Project M Charizard was so good. I miss Rock Smash so much. I can't believe they got rid of Rock Smash for that fly up move. I don't even know what the fuck it's probably just called Fly. Ivysaur with the Solar Beam is great. I love Squirtles like Bubble Beam and stuff. Project M had a lot of really interesting characters. I've been really wanted to play it again. And then Project Plus added Thunder Punch to Charizard. That shit was so cool. And Knuckles was in Project Plus. And Project M had like Wario with a Wario Land moveset that I really liked. And Sonic had the axe kick from Sonic Battle, which like that he should have had that fucking years ago in Smash Bros. Project M rules. Then in Smash 4, I played Charizard. And then after a while, I was like, I'm not liking Charizard. I want to play as Rosalina instead. And then I played the shit out of Rosalina. I played so much goddamn fucking Rosalina. And then I never went to a single Smash 4 tournament. Because at that time, I was really into Project M. And just kept going to Project M tournaments. I really regret never taking my Rosalina out. But I don't think I would have been that good with her anyway. Then Mewtwo came out, and I started playing as Mewtwo. And then after Smash 4 ended, I was like, hey, why the fuck did I stop playing as Charizard? He's fucking fun as hell in this game, and he still has Rock Smash. So now every time I play Smash 4, I'm a Charizard main again. Tale as old as time. I play Charizard, I move on to playing someone else because I don't like Charizard as much anymore. And then whenever I go back to that game, I'm like, no, fuck this, Charizard's better. I think Charizard in Smash 4 is a ton of fun. I'd love to play as him more. And that one I think might have more. I was gonna say it might have more tournaments than Brawl does, but actually I don't know if that's true. Just because of Bayonetta. Regardless, Charizard rocks. Did you know there's still some people who play for glory in Smash 4? I still pop on sometimes to go play as Charizard. I still like Rosalina, though, and Mewtwo in Smash 4 was a ton of fun. Smash 4 had a lot of really good characters in it, in my opinion. I think, like, a lot of those... As someone who never played it competitively, like, who never seriously played Smash 4 competitively, I think a lot of the characters in Smash 4 were a ton of fun. Then Ultimate. Pokemon Trainer main, I never changed. Pokemon Trainer the whole way through, except Hero... Hero also came out, and Hero is also one of my mains. Like, Hero is like... If he's not a secondary, he's right next to Pokemon Trainer. But it's not like before where, like, I got into someone else and then ditched Pokemon Trainer. No, Pokemon Trainer is still, like, it's Pokemon Trainer and Hero. Oh my god, and then, like, yeah, Bowser Jr. I completely forgot about. And Bowser and Ganondorf are super fun. There's so many characters in Smash Bros. That are so much fun. I don't even know how long I just talked about Smash Bros. I'm so sorry. We could literally do an entire episode about Smash Bros. I'm writing up, like, a massive retrospective on, like... Smash Ultimate and like most of the Smash Bros series. I have a lot to say about Smash Bros. Let's move on before I say anything more. Next up, what is easily my second favorite fighting game of all time is Guilty Gear. I fucking love Guilty Gear. I only got into it in 2019. They released the Soul vs. Kai trailer, and I was just like, I watched it. I was really groggy in bed, sitting there watching it on my phone, and Smell of the Game was playing. And, like, they were like, that is bullshit. And, like, Kai was, like, flying through the glass into the next region. And I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, this is brilliant. This is the most brilliant thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I was blown away by it. I was mesmerized. I was like, this is what I'm looking for in video games right now. It's stylish. It's crazy. It's over the top. It's bullshit blazing. It was exactly what I wanted. So immediately I jumped straight into the series. I went and I played The Missing Link, and I fucking loved The Missing Link, dude. I fucking love that game. It's so cool. Meet Again from Missing Link is still probably one of my favorite songs of all time. Missing Link probably has one of my favorite soundtracks ever. I fucking love that game. Then I played Guilty Gear XX, which I didn't like as much. I like it a lot more now than I did back then, but I still don't play it that often. Only time I really play it is whenever I go to Anime Week in Atlanta and my friend pays for me to play around at, like, the round 1 or whatever it's called, like, walking distance from the convention center. Yeah, and then I finally got to play Xrd. A friend of mine, I didn't have a laptop that could run it, but a friend of mine was nice enough to let me connect play to their computer to play Xrd with them, and I fucking love Xrd. And now I do have a computer that can run it. I've played both Xrd games, and they're both amazing. Xrd Rev 2 is my absolute favorite game in the entire series. One of my favorite games of all time. I fucking love Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2. It's so much fun. There's so much crazy shit you can do in it. It feels like, as someone who's not very good at fighting games, it really feels like there is a limitless amount of shit you can do and a limitless amount of ways you can get out of, like, a problem in that game, which is very nice. That's something I have a lot of issues with in games I love, like Skullgirls or Them's Fightin' Herds. I adore those games, but man, I just cannot escape combos in that to save my life. Whereas, like, in Guilty Gear, I can escape a combo, and if I'm in a combo, I don't feel like I'm going to die immediately from one combo, right? If that makes any sense. And then I played a couple of the other games in the series, like, I played Icica. I still haven't beaten Icica. I wasn't that crazy about it. I might beat it one day. I still haven't played Guilty Gear X. It's just not on anything. I'll have to emulate it sometime soon. And then I played Guilty Gear 2 Overture, which is the one that's like an RTS, like, 3D hack and slash game. Everyone will tell you that game sucks. They are wrong. That game fucking rules. I fucking love Guilty Gear 2 Overture. I think it's hella underrated. Like, I actually thought the RTS stuff was pretty fun in it. As someone who does not like RTS things very much, I actually had a great time with it. And genuinely, the final boss of Guilty Gear 2 Overture is one of the sickest final bosses of all time. Like, drifting around, like, all the shit she's throwing at you. And like, just in that massive open field. Feels really fucking good. That game is great. I would actually love a game that, like, plays like that. Like, if 3D fighting games played like Guilty Gear 2 Overture, even without the RTS stuff, I don't really care that much, I would fucking love that. I would eat that up. Similarly, do you think Jacko in the main Guilty Gear games has all like that command stuff because it's a reference to Guilty Gear 2 Overture's like RTS stuff, because that's like when Valentine's, like that was like the first Valentine was introduced. Just a thought. Yeah, I fucking love Guilty Gear 2 Overture. And then Strive came out, and I was not that crazy about it. I will be perfectly honest. I think Strive has some of the best designs for the characters. It has some of the best music ever made for a video game ever. Like, there's no doubt in my mind about that. I think it looks very good. I think it plays okay, but overall, I just think it's kind of a boring game. I just don't think it's that much fun. Like, obviously there's still bursts and stuff, but like that is a game where I really feel like if I make one mistake, I immediately am going to die. And I'm a sole bad guy main, and I don't think he loses health that easily. So it's the game's fault, not mine. I thought Strive was okay. I just, as again, someone who really loves the story, I felt like it kind of dropped the ball on like telling the story well. But I think a big part of that was because of COVID, just kind of fucked up the story mode and like a lot of Guilty Gear Strive. Look, I don't like Guilty Gear Strive, but for some reason I have like 70 plus hours clocked into that game on Steam, so I must not completely hate it. And it still has some good things in it. Again, I hate that game a little bit, but if it doesn't have the best soul bad guy design, in my opinion, I don't know what does. And also it has a dash button, which I found that I fucking love dash buttons. I wish more fighting games just had a button I could press to dash. Again, as I just said, I'm a Soul main. I've been a Soul main throughout the entire series. Soul Bad Guy is basically who I want to be in real life. I would give anything to be as even a fraction as cool as Soul Bad Guy. He's my idol. I worship the ground he walks on. That guy at the end of Guilty Gear Strive, who like had like was like the big Soul Bad Guy fan, that was actually me. It was supposed to be me. That's me. I'm the biggest Soul Bad Guy fan. So I actually, they were selling the shirt he wears, and I wanted it so fucking bad, but I don't think it was in stock. Again, yeah, I played him throughout the whole series, but like in Guilty Gear XX and a little bit in Xrd, I played Kai for a little bit. I think Kai is a lot of fun to play. I think he can be kind of a fucking bitch to fight, but I think he's a lot of fun. I played Ino in Xrd a bit. I think she was a lot of fun. I played Sin and Elfelt a little bit in Xrd. My friend and I played Slayer a bit in Xrd, but most of the time we were just joke about it. I haven't played Xrd with her in a while. You know who you are? I think the last time we played Xrd, I pissed you off because I played as Soul and played super lame. I'm so sorry if that is the case. If you're hearing this right now, I would not mind playing Xrd with you again. That was so much fun. Okay. Anyway. And then, after a while, I would sometimes flirt around with playing as Milia. And then after a while, I was like, no, fuck it, dude. I fucking love playing as Milia. Milia is so much fun. She has so many fun moves. She's a little too complicated for me, but, like, I still feel like I can play her Unga Bunga, which is fun. And we could talk more about, like, my thoughts on, like, Guilty Gear and stuff like that, and my thoughts on every character, because I really could say a whole shit ton about them, because the game has so many cool characters. But we'll move on. Again, there's more things to talk about. I've been recording for like an hour and a half already, if you can believe that. And lastly, the last like top 3 fighting game I have to mention is Killer Instinct. I fucking love Killer Instinct. Oh my god, this series rules. So particularly my favorite is Killer Instinct 2013, but I've actually been playing the series since I was a little kid. I've been playing Killer Instinct on the SNES most of my life, and I didn't get Killer Instinct Gold until a lot later in my life. Killer Instinct 2013 had either already been out or was coming out, but I did get Killer Instinct Gold eventually, and I did play it a bit. It's neat. I still probably prefer Killer Instinct 1 to it, but I just didn't play that much Gold, so I don't know. But yes, Killer Instinct 2013, I fucking love that game. I really wish I had been more involved with the community, but I didn't get too involved with the community in 2012. I was busy with Nintendo Land in 2012 and 2013. That's what I was doing at that time. So I didn't have a lot of time to be super involved with the Killer Instinct community, but I was keeping up with every update. I was watching it. I was super stoked for all of it. I fucking love that game. That game definitely got me through high school. Every couple years, I would sit down and draw the entire cast, and I started it again, and then I gave up, and I need to go back and do that again. Like, I need to try and draw the entire cast again, because it's such a great cast. Killer Instinct is so creative. It's so interesting. It's so cool. I obviously didn't get to play it in arcades, because arcades were pretty much dead by the time I was born. I just really like Killer Instinct. I just think it's a really cool series. My main is Spinal. Although, I will say, I've played it again recently, because it's been a while since I played it, and man, I've completely forgotten how to play that game. Like, I just totally fucking forgot how to play it. I am not good at that game anymore. But I did max out Spinal. I got him to the highest level, which was very exciting for me. I had a great time with that. I still play Saberwolf a bit. Saberwolf is who I played back on the SNES one, and I played him a bit in Killer Instinct Gold as well. Yeah, I like Saberwolf, and Saberwolf is still very fun in Killer Instinct 2013, but I don't know, there's just something about Spinal that just drew me to him. I think it was his redesign. He is the best redesigned character. Like, they took him just from, like, a generic, like, Jason of the Argonaut skeleton, and turned him to, like, the most, like, just the coolest fucking guy in that game. Yeah, again, 2013 is where I really started taking it seriously. So, like, that's where most of my characters that I played as those. I played as Glacius for a bit. I think Glacius is a ton of fun. I'd love to learn him more. I think Glacius is super fun. I played as Riptor for a bit. I believe I used Riptor to beat Shadow Lords mode, because there's, like, some Riptor cheese against Gargos. I'll talk about that mode if we ever do, like, a Killer Instinct episode. I have some thoughts on that mode. I wanted to play as Sasako, because everyone wanted to play as Sasako. She's very cool. I love her. I fucking love Hisako's animations, but I didn't play as her. I wanted to play as Aghanos. I wasn't that into Aghanos. I played as Rash. I like Rash a lot. I think Rash is a ton of fun. I played as General Rom a bit. I've never played Gears of War, but I really like General Rom for some reason. I plan on playing Gears of War eventually, like sometime soon, and so I could be like, I can feel like justified in playing General Rom. I like Shadow Jago a little bit. I really wanted to play as Fulgur because I liked a lot of his customization options, but I wasn't crazy about him. I really wanted to like Omen, but I wasn't that crazy about him, and he didn't have good color or costume options. But Omen does have my favorite like song in that game, the Shadow Tiger Lair song or whatever it's called. That song's so fucking good. I played as Gargos a little bit. I don't think I'm very good as him, but he also had really good customization options. I played as Mira a bit. I think Mira was very cool. I'm not very good at like the health management stuff though, so I didn't play as her. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go through the entire fucking cast. I'm sorry. I like Killer Instinct. Yeah, I like Killer Instinct. It's only had a couple games. I really hope we can get another Killer Instinct game, but I completely understand why it's not really looking like it's going to happen anytime soon. I love Spinal. Killer Instinct rocks. Played it as a kid. Easily my favorite Rareware series. Yeah, other fighting games I really like. Like I mentioned it earlier, I think Skullgirls I really like. I got really back into Skullgirls lately. Guys, Skullgirls fucking rocks. That is one of the best fighting games ever made. My main in that is Philia. Oh my god, I love playing as Philia. She is so much fucking fun. Like, I love like her relationship with Samson. They are so fucking goofy, the two of them. I played as Philia at first in that game, and then I moved on to Sarabella. Because again, like, it just feels like so many fighting games. I play as a character, and then I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm not as good with them as I think I am. And then I go play someone else, and then I eventually come back to the character I played as first, and I'm like, no, I shouldn't have second-guessed myself. This was so much fun. I moved on to Sarabella, moved on to Valentine, then moved on to Philia, and I was like, yo, Philia rocks. Like, have I never played as Philia before? And then it all came back to me. I was like, I played through her arcade mode because I liked her so much, and I was like, oh, I've seen this before. And like, all the memories came flooding back in, and I was like, oh my god, I've been a Philia main the whole time. And Fukuwa too. I love Fukuwa too. And recently, I don't think I can play as Misfortune, but I recently started playing as Misfortune. Like, I tried her out, and Misfortune, no questions asked, has probably my favorite animations out of any fighting game character in existence. They're so gross, and I love body horror shit. And like the way she like dashes by like opening up her legs and like spewing out blood like jet streams is maybe the coolest and rawest thing I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. I have an OC that I'm considering just like completely changing how they function just because I love that idea so much, and I want to have a character that can do that. Black Dahlia is very cool. I got the DLC recently. Like, Black Dahlia is looking very cool. Annie is a ton of fun. I think she's really cool. She's probably up there with Fukuwa and Philia for me. What other fighting games do I like? Rivals of Aether. I love Rivals of Aether. I played a lot of Rivals. I main Crag in that game. Framemakers is a game that came out recently that I fucking played the hell out of that demo. I had to uninstall the demo because I was playing it too much. Like I was not getting work done because I like Framemakers so much. I'm an Octodad main with a Crag assist, of course. Octodad is a ton of fun in that. Speaking of Framemakers, Super Smash Slash 2, Crystal main, and also Black Mage. I love Super Smash Slash 2, very good game. Simon from Gurren Lagann for Super Smash Slash 2, thank you. Marvel vs. Capcom, that's one that I was I got back into big time recently. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is probably the one I've played the most of, and I haven't played it in a while, but the last time I played it, my team was Shumogoroth, Firebrand, and Shinko. I know Shinko is apparently like the worst character in that game. She's my favorite Darkstalker. She's hot. I don't care. If I went back to it, I would love to learn how to play Phoenix Wright better. And back in the day, I used to play as Ghost Rider a lot because I liked him a lot. This was back before I had Shumogoroth. And then I started playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 recently, and my team was Venom, Shumogoroth, and Amingo. I love them a whole bunch. I actually really liked all three of them. I think they worked very well together, but their crossover supers did not work together. No big deal, though. I got to play more Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I was also very interested in Blackheart. I thought he was very cool in that. Right, Darkstalkers. I haven't like seriously sunk my teeth into Darkstalkers just because like I've been emulating the arcade versions. They don't have training mode, unfortunately. But I love Darkstalkers. I love the characters in that. I would love a new Darkstalkers, but that's never gonna happen. My favorite Darkstalker is Shinko, and I really like Lord Raptor too, but and QB, but definitely like Shinko is my number one. Man, again, I should probably save this. I could do a whole episode on fighting games and just talk about my mains and stuff. I literally did like a fighting game main bingo. I don't have it pulled up right now because otherwise I will talk about every like fighting game I've played. Moving on. Yeah, I also have listed like some of my favorite consoles. My favorite generation is definitely 6th generation. I love GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. That's what I grew up with. But definitely, even though I grew up with it, there's a lot of games I just didn't play at that time. Just because, like, that's probably around the time when we just couldn't afford a lot of stuff anymore. Now I'm making up for lost time. I'm going back. I've been playing, I'm finally playing, like, a lot of PS2 and Xbox stuff I missed. I played Halo for the first time I grew up playing Halo, the multiplayer, but I never played the story mode. I just played it for the first time last year. I had a great fucking time with it. I actually was really impressed with it. Again, I just played all those PS2 platformers. I just played God of War at the beginning of this year for the first time. The first one. I had a pretty good time with it. I was not that crazy about it, but it's pretty good. There's a bunch of GameCube games I gotta play. I haven't played Custom Robo. I'm not sure how to refer to him. My boss, the drag and drop guy, keeps begging me to play Custom Robo, and I still haven't played it yet. If you're watching and listening to this, I am so sorry. I will play Custom Robo eventually. Yeah, again, like, even though I had these games, like, there's so many games, even though I had these consoles, there's so many games in that generation that I missed out on, and going back and playing through them, I'm like, yeah, dude, they are all good. Actually, it's such a good era for gaming, and there's so many games that I'm in that era that I'm looking forward to finally, like, really sinking my teeth into. Next up, my favorite era is probably 7th gen. A lot of people, I feel like, look back on this generation not very fondly and shit on it a lot. I actually think 7th gen, like Wii, PS3, and 360 was pretty cool. The Wii had a lot of bangers. The PS3, I haven't played a lot of PS3 games, but my PS3 is like my go-to console for pretty much anything from that generation. If I own it, if I need to buy something from that generation and it was on PS3 or 360, there's a good chance I'll get it on PS3. It's like my go-to. I really like that console now. And then 360 really fucking rules. Has a lot of really good games on it. Blue Dragon. How did I not mention Blue Dragon? Oh my god. I didn't mention Blue Dragon in the RPGs. That's on 360. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I fucking love Blue Dragon. Anyway. And then I also have written down pretty much any handheld console. Pretty much any handheld console is a console I really like. For some reason, I have like a bit of a fascination with handheld consoles. I like Game Boy and Game Boy Color. They're not important though, personal aside, because you could play them on Game Boy. You could play their games on Game Boy Advance, and that's the moneymaker. I fucking love Game Boy Advance. I love Game Boy Advance sprites. I'm not crazy about Game Boy Advance 3D, although there was some pretty impressive shit with it sometimes, like Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. just full blown had pre-rendered cutscenes in it, and that shit blew me out of the fucking water when I played it last year. I love the DS. I didn't get the DS until kind of late, but I fucking love the DS. The 3DS is one of the greatest consoles ever. PSP is another console that I just didn't have most of my life. So I'm only kind of recently getting into it, but dude, there's so many games on PSP I want to play. I want to fucking sink my teeth into the PSP library. PSP fucking rules. That console, actually, I think when I start playing it more, might become one of my favorites. It's kind of crazy, dude. It's like a handheld, but it's got like maybe PS2 level graphics, or maybe not PS2, but like it's better than PS1, I think. It's pretty fucking good looking. Like, oh my god. I love the PSP. And well, I like the Vita's neat too. I really think that if the Vita if the Vita just didn't have the fucking memory card thing, it would have been so fucking good. But yeah, I love handhelds. I'm trying to think like some other favorite games from each of these consoles. GameCube, I really love like the Marios and stuff on there, and the Sonics on the 6th generation. But like GameCube had like Cubivore, I really like. Animal Crossing, I really like. Xbox, I mean, I played the shit out of SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie, the video game back in the day. And PS2 I didn't have until way later, so unfortunately there just wasn't a lot that I've played on PS2 until now. Now I'm going back and I'm finally playing through them. I have some other games written down here that I can maybe bring up, like Ace Attorney. I fucking love the Ace Attorney games. I've played the shit out of the Ace Attorney series. I got it a while back, but I still haven't played like Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Seems like a very cool game. I played like the first case, and I liked it enough. But it's a little hard for me to play now that I'm kind of like, a freelance NEET at home. It was very easy to play those games when I was in school, but not so much now. But I love Ace Attorney. My favorite game in the series is absolutely Apollo Justice. I fucking love the characters in that game. I love the mysteries in them. They're all really fucking good. Ace Attorney rocks. I have Star Fox written down. I love Star Fox. Star Fox 64 is one of my favorite games of all time. I've never replayed a game beginning to ending more than I've replayed Star Fox 64. I fucking love that game. It's super fucking good. Star Fox 64 is absolutely my favorite, but I love Assault. I actually think Star Fox, like, people always talk about how it doesn't have a lot of good games. I don't think that's true. I think it has, like, one bad game in the series. Maybe two. It's been a while since I played 0. Star Fox 1 and 2 are very good. I really love Star Fox 2. I was really blown away by that. Star Fox 64 is amazing. Star Fox Assault is amazing. People will try to fight me on that. It is. Star Fox Assault rocks. Star Fox Command, I've only gotten one ending in it, even though I've played it like 3 times. I, for some reason, cannot figure out how to get any different endings. But Command rocks. Star Fox Adventures is very beautiful. It gave us Crystal, who is not even just because she's hot. I genuinely love Crystal. But I'm just not that into it. I'm not crazy about Zelda likes. So I think Star Fox Adventures would have been a lot better if it was kept as Dinosaur Planet and then ended with like Crystal and her brother showing up in the Lylat system, and then you could have had her brother show up in Star Fox Assault 2. Was the guy who got booted from Dinosaur Planet the other playable character Crystal's brother? Not important. Regardless, you could have made them brothers. I don't know what I'm saying. And then there's Star Fox Zero, which I remember thinking was fine, but I think if I replay it, I'm not going to like that game anymore. But, yeah, that was like 7 games? Oh, right, and then the Star Fox 64 remake, which is also good. That was like 7 games and 2 of them were bad. What do you mean most of that series sucks? Fucking, no. Most of them are actually good. Anyway, I'm sorry. Splatoon I really like. That's a series I'm into. I don't play it like competitively or anything, but I really love like the story and world in it. Doom I really like. I've only beaten 2016 and Eternal. Soon I'd like to sit down and play through Doom 3, and I probably should beat Doom 2 and 64. Anyway, Doom 2016 is my favorite first-person shooter of all time. I think that game was fucking amazing. Genuinely, the only reason why I think Halo 1 might be better is because Halo has local multiplayer deathmatch. If Doom 2016 had local multiplayer deathmatch, it would definitively be one of the greatest games of all time. That game fucking rules. I have, Demon's Crest written down. I love Demon's Crest. Animal Crossing, my favorite is definitely New Leaf, but I've played pretty much all of them except for like the N64 one and like the spin-offs. I love Animal Crossing, very cute series. Chrono Trigger, The World Ends With You. I can't believe I didn't mention those in the RPG section. A Short Hike is one of my favorite indie games of all time. Spark the Electric Gesture is one of my favorite indie games of all time. I have Dig Dug written down. I don't play a lot of arcadey games, but I fucking love Dig Dug. I have that on almost any console I can get it on. Dig Dug's probably my favorite arcade game. My favorite, like, arcadey game like that. My favorite arcade game is probably a fighting game. Pokemon I have written down. I have a complicated relationship with Pokemon. I think the main series games are not my favorite, but I love, like, a lot of Pokemon spin-offs. Like, specifically, Pokemon Snap, and even more specifically, new Pokemon Snap, is probably one of my favorite games of all time. Very good stuff. I liked Pokken. That's most of what I played. I'm really into the Pokemon franchise, but I don't play a lot of the Pokemon games. But I'm trying to fix that. That's one of the series I'm going through and playing every entry of the main series of. We're on Crystal now, which I've played Soul Silver before. I'm still interested to see like how Crystal compares and stuff. And I also have written down Metal Gear Solid. I have not. So most of Metal Gear Solid I watched my brother play through, but it was a very good bonding experience for us. Like, he played through it and I watched and like gave advice and stuff. Went through the whole series like that back when I was a little kid. I fucking love Metal Gear Solid. It's a very important series to me, and I'm finally trying to go through and play them all for the first time for myself. I watched them when I was in like 5th grade, so I didn't really understand a lot of what was going on. But like I played Metal Gear Solid 1 for the first time all the way through recently, and like, yeah, I really liked it. I'm very interested in playing 2, which I'm gonna hopefully do sometime this year. And anyway, there are so many games that I love and have a history with, and there is no way I could reasonably name drop every single game I like, because I can't even remember most of them. They were coming to me, while talking. But yeah, thankfully that's what future episodes are for. We will make more time to talk about more things I love in the future. So there's plenty of other games out there that I like. There's plenty of games I haven't played. There's so many video games to talk about that I really could go on forever, but I should move on. I'm almost in 2 hours of recording now. So we'll move on to the next section. So next up is a Q&A section. This is like, I figured I should probably have something like this where people, my idea with it is that people can ask me questions based on the topic of the previous episode, and then I answer them in the next episode's Q&A, but of course, there's no questions at the moment. So I will ask you a question. Feel free to answer this in the comments or wherever, on whatever you're listening to this to. What are some of your favorite games? And based on what I talked about, what games do you think I would be interested in checking out? Feel free to send your answers my way, and ideally I will talk about them. I will talk about your answers in the next episode. As for fan submitted questions, I don't know what the next episode is going to be about. I do plan on doing another episode. It'd be a shame to just call it a quits after the first, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So keep your eyes open for information on what I'll do next with this podcast. Last but not least, for the last big segment I had planned, is an indie game spotlight. I thought this is something I probably should do because I play a lot of indie games, especially lately, and I thought it could just be nice just to give a shout out to some indie games that I think deserve more attention. They could be games I played recently or games I played a while back. Generally, I'm going to try to do stuff that isn't like super popular, although like sometimes I might still just give a shout out to stuff that's very popular if I like it and I've been playing it a lot. But for the most part, yeah. My general rule of thumb is that if it can appear in Super Smash Bros., it probably doesn't need to be spotlighted. So, for this first episode, I'm just gonna give a spotlight to 3 indie games that I played recently that I just want to give some attention to. First up is Rotund Zero. This is a very fun time attack precision platformer where you play as a chubby little rabbit getting through around like 26 levels. It can be very challenging, and there's a surprising amount of stuff to do considering there's only like a handful of stages. It has fantastic sprites, great music, pretty interesting gameplay, and if you like tougher time attack platformers, I really think you ought to check it out. There's a bunch more games in the series that I only found out about recently, So I'm absolutely gonna have to check those out, and you should check out Roton Zero, and if you like it, play some of the other games in the series. Next up is Tightrope Theater, which is a very compact platformer, but it actually has a lot of levels to it, this one. It's very interesting. It's a pretty basic platformer. You just move and jump, but it can get surprisingly challenging. There's a lot of gimmicks in it, and what really stands out to me is how good the sprite art and music was in it. I thought it was really fantastic. The team behind this one actually has a ton of games they've released, and they all seem to have really good sprite art. They made Duke Dashington, which is, I swear to God, that's a Flash game I played on Newgrounds before. Regardless, if you're interested in just a compact little platformer, I really think you ought to check it out. And last but not least is RPG Time, The Legend of Wright. This was the first RPG I played this year, and it's a very cute and interesting RPG. It's a little bit more like a comedy point and click, but it certainly has RPG elements and has RPG combat with a very interesting gimmick. The whole game is endlessly creative and incredibly cute. I really had a great time with it. I really adored it. Ending almost made me cry, I'm not even gonna lie. If you're looking for a game with turn-based combat but has no grinding and it's more story-driven and just like comedy-focused, it's a fantastic one to check out. And also, if you do like more traditional RPGs, it's a very funny parody of the genre that I do think is worth your time. Yep, and that's 3 indie games for the first indie game spotlight. I'll try to put links into the description wherever I upload it so you can go check them out. If you've got an indie game you're making or one that you really think deserves a shout out, please send it my way. I'd love to spotlight other people's work. I'll probably end up spotlighting some of my own little itch.io games eventually. And I mean, the worst thing I could do is just not show your game, right? So, send a link my way. Let me know if you're interested. And yeah, that's basically it according to my notes. This is the first episode. It's really just to see if I could pull it off, if I enjoy doing it, and if others liked hearing me shoot the shit about games. So yeah, please let me know what you think. Be honest, but keep in mind that I will try to improve in future episodes if I tackle them. My concept was to do this. I had like some ideas to do this as maybe like a Patreon thing. I don't really want to permanently lock them behind a paywall. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I would probably like to see them being released later onto YouTube or something. I have to find a way to make it like worthwhile for patrons though. I was thinking like maybe patrons are the only ones who can send or ask questions. Like patrons have like a level of interactivity with it. I guess spoilers. Yes, I am looking into reopening my Patreon. I've cleaned it up a little bit and I probably will be relaunching it around the same time I release this. This podcast is probably not going to be locked behind the Patreon. It's probably going to be open to anyone. Although I might use it to like test to see how it works and stuff. The Patreon would be just behind a $1 tier, so wouldn't take any effort to get it. You could literally just hop on to ask a question, like if that topic interests you for that month. Yeah, it's something I'm thinking about, so keep an eye open if you're interested. No pressure to support me if I open up a Patreon. It's just like another bonus thing for my fans and for my fans, if I have any, and myself. Yeah, and also in future episodes, I would really like to have other people here, so it's not just me talking to myself. I think that would help me really keep the conversation on track and not ramble a whole bunch. Having additional guests, it's very easy for me to get friends in. I have like a lot of friends. Like I've been trying to think of like, I know a guy I could get in if I wanted to do a Tales of episode. I was talking with a friend of mine and I was telling her I could totally have her for a No More Heroes episode. I could have my brother on if I ever do a Donkey Kong episode. I could probably have the entirety of my friends list show up for a Sonic the Hedgehog episode. So there's no shortage of people I know I could get to be on this podcast, but I also I would not mind eventually having even like relevant people show up. I don't know who I'd get. If I ever wanted to talk about like weird games and stuff, you could get Derek from Stop Skeletons from Fighting. I don't think he remembers this, but we're mutuals on Twitter, so he's obligated to join now. I don't know. We could I don't really know who I would get. I don't want to say anything because I don't think I would ever be able to actually do anything like that, but I would love to have like relevant people even potentially join as like the guests for podcasts and stuff, or even just do like interviews. Like even if they're only there for like the Q&A section to do like an interview, that would be a ton of fun. And I would absolutely, if I could get them for that, I would absolutely let people on the Patreon ask questions about that. Yeah. So, again, this is just like an attempt at it. This is just like a concept. We'll see how the podcast goes from here. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing with this. It's just an idea, just an extra thing to just give me something more to do right now in my boring ass, stay-at-home mom ass life. And it's potentially something for you to have to just listen in the background. Just another fun thing to have once a month just to listen to, like on the back burner if you need more stuff, if you just need more content to play on in the background. Thank you very much for listening. If you just listened for a little bit, or if you listened to the whole thing, bless your heart. I really appreciate it. I'm very nervous about doing stuff like this. Mostly just because like it's very easy for me to post like unfinished garbage when it comes to art, because I'm like I think it still looks good, but with my voice and stuff, I'm a lot more sensitive. I'm not very good at this. I don't do a lot of this stuff. So again, please be nice. Let me know if there's any major problems with it. Let me know what you think about it. Do you think you'd like to hear more? Do you think it's just dead in the water? You think I just don't even bother trying to make a second episode? Let me know what you think. Be honest, but be considerate to my sensitivities. And again, check out the indie games I talked about. Answer the question I asked. Let me know what other things you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. Let me know how I can improve. Let me know all that types of stuff. And yeah. Oh man, it's almost 2 hours at this point that I've been just talking to myself, which is crazy. That's it from me. Thank you all again for your time. That's it from me. Go out and play some games that you love.